Home has always been a complex word for me. Some argue that I don't have a home. Others suggest that I must lack stability or feel disoriented with this always shifting, always moving kind of lifestyle. And I get it. I understand the notion that a home embodies belonging and stability and a profound sense of rootedness. But I am on year 4 now of living in this simple cabin on wheels. And rather than feeling the need to escape this ever-evolving life on the road to find a proper home, I've actually just been drawn to explore more, to learn more, and to delve deeper into what home truly means to me. And this path has continuously led me to dense nature and to wide open skies and raw wilderness. And now it has guided me to some of the richest nature on the planet, the Amazon rainforest. After 3 planes and 24 hours of travel, I landed in Porto Maldonado on the southeastern border of Peru. It was to be our final day before heading into the jungle, a time for us to grab any last-minute essentials and to adjust to a completely different culture. We were to be situated on a protected portion of the Madre de Dios River, which is one of the many tributaries of the Amazon River. From Porto Maldonado, we traveled deep into the jungle, over 3 hours by car, then an additional 2 hours by boat, until we arrived at the station.
What is this thing? Is this fruit? This big tree
Oh
here.
my gosh, I got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah, he's staring right at me. Yeah.
We are heading out for our very first night exploration, and I could not be more excited. So I just spotted a snake curled up in some branches, way out of reach. Oh my. Wow!
Nice, thank you.
Wow!
It whips me. It does look like a coach whip.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's biting. Yeah, it's good. No, it's not venomous. The tail, you can hear it. I'm pretty sure this is what's called Chironius fuscus, but there is 2 other that have very, very similar coloration. And the way to tell them apart is doing scale count. So there's one of these snakes that has 10 scales on the mid-body. So you count the scales here, around here. And if it's 10, then that means it's one species. If it's 12,
Oh gosh.
then it's another
Very
species.
specific.
Yeah, very specific. And once you go to 12, then the way to tell the two species that have 12 scales apart is counting the subcaudal scales, which are, this is the cloaca right here.
When it starts, yeah.
Yeah, where the cloaca starts until the end of the tail. All these scales. Yeah, and the difference is like over 150 or less than 150. Yeah, so
That's very specific.
that's if you count the scales and it's 12. Like their behavior, they're so feisty.
Yeah.
This is one of those like
Oh, he's like-
diurnal species. I was like saying, if you find this during the day, you just have to run because
Really?
they're fast. Yeah, they're
They really are fast.
yeah.
Their
Oh.
tail.
Mind yourself, buddy.
Here comes.
Oh my god, no way. Oh, he's big. Oh my gosh, he's beautiful. Oh my god.
Right there. I can see the eyes.
¿Qué es blanco o enano?
No, enano. Pero
Él tiene como espinas acá.
sí tiene.
Caimans are pretty aggressive.
Are they?
More so than alligators.
Oh.
Like a crocodile right there. Holy shit.
Oh my
Alright,
God.
you can get him now.
Wow.
You're gonna need a lot of light because mine might fall.
What are you?
No, pues quiero tirar mi peso en su espalda.
Lo importante es la boca, el cuello, el cuello. No con las espinitas,
Wow, he is big.
Holy shit, that's not a log.
No, grab the neck. Neck with me, yeah. You don't want to do
Good
it.
job, guys.
If it shakes, we have to like
Okay.
put a lot of pressure.
Down.
We need to go to somewhere shallow. Push it to the ground and we're gonna drag it.
He is incredible.
So old.
Getting a little bit more tensed up now.
Holy shit, that is.
My hands can't even touch around.
That's a dinosaur.
Falta lavarle con el
Because it's so big?
Because no.
Good job. That was amazing.
My two hands can't go around this neck.
Holy shit. Kind of green. His head's green.
Almost 100% sure that
This one doesn't smell.
the black-headed calico.
During this first night in the jungle, I was enamored by everything around us. The insects, the sounds, the tiny fungi, the camouflaged frogs, and especially that eerie feeling of knowing that I have only become aware of a tiny percentage of the creatures that had actually been watching me throughout the entire night. There was nowhere else that I wished to be. We didn't get back until after midnight. It was so epic. I'm so tired, but
I also slept like a baby with all of these beautiful noises to like lull me to sleep. I'm having the best time. I'm just so happy. 7 a.m. breakfast time this morning. We are heading out for a boat ride this morning. Today's really sunny, so it feels like we're in a completely different place, and it's beautiful. Something that has really stood out to me are the people here. Incredible, amazing people. I feel like this type of adventure brings in the type of people that I really connect with, and that has been quite special. Oh, he is so cute.
There are many of us with a special kind of curiosity, an adventurous spirit that encourages us to walk off the trail towards something that caught our eye, an interest in asking those challenging questions that are often frowned upon, and an inability to blindly trust and believe what others say is the truth simply because they deem it so, but instead feel the need to see and understand things for ourselves. And I smiled with relief once I realized that I was surrounded by those curious and adventurous souls, where every day our conversations flowed through varying ideas, and each perspective and experience was listened to with the intent of understanding, rather than criticizing or judging.
You know what's this?
An anteater?
No.
What is it?
Tortoise.
Oh, that's a tortoise?
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, cool. Yeah, that would make sense. Wow.
I learned that a group like this often speaks of nature in the way that one would speak of a lifelong friend or mentor. Not as a faraway thing to conquer, but instead as a sister to protect and to cherish. And of course, these individuals who gathered deep in the jungle were like this. When one is conscious of the natural world and wanting to learn about the other beings who share our home, hoping to preserve her, of course they would be kind and curious, open-minded, and seeking to understand. Because you have to be, if you want something other than yourself to thrive.
I really like all the...
Look at the butterfly.
No. Bye-bye. Now it's away.
There's 4 or 5 of us fishing right now. The sunset is unbelievable on the river.
The structure of our days in the Amazon revolved around the activity of the rainforest. We would rise shortly after the sun, with our bug nets draped around our bed, still so exposed to the weather and the critters surrounding us. After a simple meal of fruit and eggs, we explored, either by boat or on foot, to see what we could add to our list of species that we had been forming as a group. This was an important part of being in the Amazon, because with more information about the species that live here, the more likely they are to be protected, and for their environment to not be destroyed. The more knowledge that can be shared when trying to conserve the homes of these creatures, the better. This carried us into the afternoon, when sweet exhaustion settled in, and one by one I would notice another sleeping body in a hammock, or the soft giggles of people sharing a fresh rolled cigarette, and the cool clouds that became dark and heavy right before the afternoon rain. Each day was filled with beauty and adventure and a lot of learning. And as each of the days would wind down, was when the excitement would really gather. Because each of us could hardly await nightfall. Marcos, our guide, had an intense passion and understanding for this wildlife that was nothing short of admirable. He identified each species we found first by the scientific name. He consistently prioritized the health and respect of the wildlife in every scenario. He was very strict about those who had worn bug repellent that day were not allowed to touch the wildlife.
The snakes can grow up to like 2 meters, but they're always like super slender. They have no venom, so if it bites, it only hurts. You can hold it, but just be ready for it to strike.
It's okay.
And if it bites, just don't pull away, you know?
I'll just...
He was careful to show the correct handling techniques, but did not let small or fragile creatures be held. And in this case, he was sure to warn us that this snake very well could strike. And if it did, he reiterated more than once that at no point were we to pull away if the snake bites. Because this species of snake tends to hold on when it bites, and by pulling away, there was a chance that we could injure the snake.
Because this is an arboreal snake, it's not wrong to leave it hanging that much. If it was terrestrial, you have to support it more.
What do these eat?
What do they eat?
Yeah.
They like rodents or like that little mouse opossum things that are like climbing on the trees. They can also eat like birds if they can catch them, and bats.
Can you lower it from your face a little bit?
This is how he was hanging too, like this in the street. Just watching everybody walk by.
Like who?
Plotting.
Smells so crazy.
Yeah, you can. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just.
You don't have to.
I'm trying to be artistic and move it around.
It's gonna be great.
I'll record the birds they hear, I think.
So cool.
It was about day 3 when I began to feel lighter. I was shedding physical and emotional weight that my body had taken on from a really stressful winter. I noticed that my mind was consistently calm, that endless chatter was eased by being in the jungle. My sleep was deeper. My body appreciated the simplicity of our meals: fresh fruit, fish from the river, and simple grains. There was a feeling of abundance, the kind that flourishes when you have less of what doesn't really matter. I was living out of a small pack, wearing the same clothes every day, only eating what my body needed, and living simply and close to nature while focusing my energy on all of these tiny creatures that many of us don't even notice or consider, who are responsible for the density and the balance of our life.
This one's for you if I can pour it. I haven't had any. So who jumps on?
Okay.
Yeah, I was right.
Wow.
There is no official record as far as I know of the second species being here, but I've been talking with Paul and he told me he's seen them around. So the way to differentiate them when they're adults is easier. If not, you can count the scales on the back. Yep, okay.
Wow.
There you go. My phone.
Very good. You have one? You got it there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
They don't let you do
chance, right?
They don't let you do this.
Oh man, that is a cute thing.
Insides of his legs are like turquoise.
They lose that when they grow. Yeah. These are also fangs.
Do they eat amphibians and frogs?
They eat, yes.
Which most rear fang snakes, right?
What's right?
Most rear fang snakes are frog eaters.
Yes and no, but these guys do eat frogs a lot. Especially terrestrial frogs. Yes, but they never bite unless you. Yeah. You can.
He's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. What a cool shot.
Long and thin. No,
Go
no,
towards the ocean, then I'll boo you.
this one have
This
leg,
is,
no? They are not thin as
What does it do with the claws it has?
They eat like a mantis.
Oh, it's a beautiful.
Frog, they like to live near streams because they breathe over there and they do a little call that's like and they wait. They're like ambush predators.
Well, he does not care that you touch him at
goes in
all.
front of them,
They eat it.
they eat it. Yeah, could be like, even like a rat or whatever. Yeah,
They can eat a rat?
yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's like if you check their mouth, it's like half. It's like up to here and here. So whatever fits inside the mouth, they'll get it. You generally find brown coloration. Green is way harder to find, especially in frogs this size.
Wow, well done, sir.
Or sometimes you get dark green like this. Yeah.
I'm always drawn back here. Maybe not exactly to the jungle itself, but to deep nature, where living, breathing beings surround me, ones that don't understand what it means to be human. It's where I go to heal and recalibrate, and this has nothing to do with escaping. The word reality is tossed around a lot. It's been years now of me traveling and seeking adventure, and people often respond to this by reminding me that I can't escape reality, that I have to live in the quote-unquote real world. And after spending years experiencing the wilderness of many forms, I've realized that I couldn't disagree more. I feel as though nature is reality. That immersing ourselves in the jungle or the open desert, walking in the dirt, and being in awe of beautiful, frightening, or majestic creatures has nothing to do with escaping reality, but everything to do with coming home. So for me, home is just that. It is not a place or a single country or even a structure, but instead it's the feeling I get when there are breaths and lives that surround me and share this earth, where I am among the equally harmonious and chaotic rhythms of the wilderness.
That's a great picture,
This is the coolest thing ever. Look at him mating right there.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun.